Hey guys, this episode I wanted to walk you through the debugging process that I made to fix an issue in the OmniAuth DigitalOcean library. And I wanted to walk through the OAuth process a little bit for you to understand that better, as well as how I debug something like this that just kind of is very abstracted and is not working. So here's the issue that we ran into. Recently, on the old version of Hatchbox, if you were to connect your DigitalOcean account, this code has been running for a very long time, everything was fine, but now, all of a sudden, we're getting this invalid credentials error when you do this process. And unfortunately, all of this is super abstracted. We grab an OmniAuth gem, we add a link to the OmniAuth URL, it does everything from there, and we get a token out at the end. And we don't have to touch any of that process, it handles it all for us. But clearly something is going wrong. And we get this invalid credentials error message. And if we look at our Rails logs, we do actually see some information here. So our GET request for the callback URL, it has our code and our state. And we see callback phase initiated, and then authentication failure, invalid credentials, and of course, the most generic and useless error message. The request is missing a required parameter, includes an unsupported value, or is otherwise malformed. They know exactly what was wrong on their end, but they didn't really tell us in our error message. It's very generic. So unfortunately, their API messaging could be better and could tell us, hey, you're missing the client ID parameter, or the code parameter, or whatever it is, or maybe you gave something else over that doesn't work. So on my end, I was trying to figure out, what's wrong here. And I looked up DigitalOcean API changelog just to see, maybe did DigitalOcean change something? Not really. We can go all the way back to the beginning of this year, basically 5 months ago, and we'll see the CLI changed twice and Fedora versions changed, which we don't care about either because this has nothing to do with the OAuth process. And most likely, nothing will have changed on DigitalOcean's API for the OAuth process because that would affect every single customer of theirs. And they're also using OAuth 2, which is a very standardized process. So that got me wondering, what is happening here? And all we really know is that the callback phase initiated and we have this authentication failure immediately afterwards.